to Seattle, and then Jackie Young to Las Vegas. Meanwhile, a player who I think won the hearts of many during the NCAA tournament, Aari McDonald. Where does she end up, and what are her pro prospects like?
Yeah, Aari McDonald's draft stock went sky high in the NCAA tournament because she was relentless on both ends of the floor. She has game-changing, explosive speed, quickness, and playmaking ability. She increased her efficiency from long range, so WNBA coaches love that she can stretch the floor. She just changes the pace.
Hey everyone, Erica Lindsay Ayala here. Welcome, as I am just here watching the WNBA draft. I usually am set up in my living room, but I was like, I want to be a little bit more comfortable, get in my nice comfy chair. This year, of course, Jackie Robinson Day, so I'm repping that. But we are going to talk WNBA draft. I'm pretty excited. I think it should be a good time. And here's what we're looking at. Just so you have the draft order, this is what we're looking at. So the Dallas Wings, they have the 1 and the number 2 pick. That's never happened before in the history of the WNBA, but it's happening unless we get a trade. Dallas has already traded one of their first round picks to Los Angeles right there at number 7. They would have had that pick as well at number 7 here, but they gave that over to the Los Angeles Sparks. Woo, it's going to be quite a draft here. You see also Dallas got that number 1 pick from the New York Liberty. Now, interesting enough, in a media call yesterday with Walt Hopkins, head coach of the New York Liberty, and Jonathan Kolb, the general manager of the New York Liberty, Walt Hopkins in particular felt that one Awakuir would be a perfect fit for his New York Liberty squad. Said that Awak was going to be a problem for years to come. That's what Walt Hopkins said. And so we'll see what happens here. So I'm just chilling here watching the draft. I see we have a few spammers trying to get through. Well, that's fantastic. But everyone else, welcome. So if you have any questions, let me know. But for those of us who are meeting for the first time, if you're watching on Twitch, you're probably watching on the Founding Four. I usually talk about women's hockey, and you can follow the Founding Four podcast. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, then you know that I cover multiple women's sports. So welcome. And which pick would be the best fit for New York? Now, see, this is a really great question. It's a little tough, and I was asked this earlier, but I think it's a little bit tough because New York still needs a lot. I think they still need to see how Natasha Howard is going to work in their system. They need to see, quite honestly, how Sabrina Ionescu is going to fit with a full season under her belt. But I like the idea of getting maybe another guard. Aari McDonald, her stock shot up, but I'm not sure she's quite the right fit. I tell you who I do like, but I don't know that she'll be on the board, is Areya Garantes. Areya Girantes from Rutgers. I like her style of play. I feel like the New York Liberty, with that 5-out system that they're playing, I think they need a few more gritty players like what you see in Jasmine Jones. So, I would like to see that. I don't think we'll get it. But New York, as you can see here on the board, has that 7th pick. They got this from Connecticut. So I guess we'll see. I think also New York could probably do all right by picking up a post player. You've got Natasha Howard. Yeah, that is very true. There are definitely enough guards, but New York is known to like a few guards on their team. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Natasha Mack, no matter what. All right. That's dope. That's pretty dope. I like Natasha Mack. I know a lot of people are wondering if we will see a few more New York City connections. Lots of players from Louisville are playing in this Walt Hopkins system, so we'll have to see if that happens. This is really interesting. A lot of new names I'm not familiar with. I've started streaming a little bit more women's basketball stuff on Twitch, and it looks like Twitch is not quite ready for that, but that's all right. Y'all gonna get to know me for sure. Anyway, let's see what they're doing over at ESPN. I love that they have a 2-hour show. I absolutely love that there's a 2-hour show. We've got LaChina Robinson in there along with Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rucco. Of course, Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rucco are essentially that top broadcasting pair right now for women's basketball. But I really think ESPN would do well to have more LaChina Robinson on the airwaves. So do I expect trades? I wouldn't be surprised if we see a trade or two. I thought it was interesting, again, how much Walt Hopkins really seemed to like Awakuir. I don't know. I mean, it couldn't hurt them for New York to move up and trade that. I don't know what they would give to Dallas for that trade. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Arthur says, you never got back to me regarding women in the NHL. Not exactly sure what you're talking about, Arthur. There are a lot of women that are coaching in the NHL ranks right now, or that are working for NHL teams. So I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Haha. NWHL needs more Eric Ayala on the airwaves. Hey, I would love to call more games. Obviously, the NWHL, we're not in season right now, but I've really enjoyed calling games. I was able to call some of the games that were played in Lake Placid, even though they had us broadcasting from Florida. So that was an interesting experience to call remotely, but that's the times that we're living in. All right, Arthur. Again, not really sure what you're talking about. If you want to ask your question, I can see if I can get to it, but I have to let you know that I am talking about the WNBA draft today. Not that much about hockey, but not really sure what you're referring to. But anyway, so for those just joining the stream, again, let me just bring up here. This is what we have as the picks. Dallas, number 1 and number 2. First time ever we've seen a franchise have the number 1 and number 2 pick. The Atlanta Dream, coming off 2 pretty rough seasons, are going to get that 3 pick. Indiana, they can't really seem to get their hands on a number 1 or number 2 pick, but they'll be coming in at number 4. Of course, the legendary Tamika Catchings is now the GM there. Then you get Dallas again at 5, New York Liberty at 6. Los Angeles traded with Dallas. They gave them, I believe it was some 2022 picks. So Dallas, again, looking to be competitive with some young talent down the road. So Los Angeles gets that 7 pick. Chicago, with their first pick, will go at 8. Minnesota at 9. Los Angeles again at 10. So I'm really curious what Los Angeles is looking for. Are they going to maybe grab some pieces that they think they can trade? That could be interesting. Damien, I know you mentioned that before. So WNBA jerseys look great. However, I wish they would put the players' last names on the top and the numbers at the bottom. I only know that, speaking of hockey again, but I know in women's hockey, the conversation was to move the nameplate down because of hair. A lot of players, or enough players, have long hair that when it's out and even up in a ponytail, it would block the full name. So I think that's probably why you see that move. Rafiq, who do I think the Liberty will draft? I honestly think I would like to see them draft a post player. I know a lot of people are saying they don't need guards. They have enough guards. Dana Evans, of course, is on a lot of people's radar. The Liberty have already picked up someone else from Louisville. So New York City is in full effect. Dallas, I agree with you, is probably taking a walk. But again, New York really likes a walk. So I don't know, maybe not anything right now, but we'll see if we see any trades down the road. Whatever Derek Fisher does, it will be dumb. Derek Fisher has gotten a lot of heat. I am very curious to see what the Sparks are going to do. I think the jury's still out when it comes to him. The circumstances of him being hired were not my favorite. Obviously, we heard that there was some tension in his first season. Seemed like things were better in season 2, but the Sparks didn't really get to a place where we thought they might be, especially bringing in some of the talent that they did. So Derek Fisher is going to really have an interesting time on his hands. All right. Arthur wants to know, what is the difference between equality and equity? Well, here's the thing, Arthur. You can technically say that things are equal, such as if everyone starts at the same block on the starting line in like a race. But if one race lane is littered with obstacles and the other one is free and clear, then although the starting line is equal, and that would be equality, the race itself, the path, is not equitable. So equality is not necessarily starting at the same place. It's making sure that you have the same opportunities, and that we're not arbitrarily, I would add, creating a situation where certain racers, to use this extended metaphor, have to do more work than others. So that's my take on that. I'm interested in what Vegas is going to do. Vegas has made some moves. They have brought in some players. I think people still wonder if the Liz Cambage, Asia Wilson experiment is going to work out. I honestly thought that having Asia, Liz, and quite honestly, Kelsey Plum, who sometimes gets a bad rap, I actually thought that, they made it to the finals. They got swept by Washington, but you need to see more from those players. So I'm curious what Vegas is going to do here. It was interesting to hear Kurt Miller, and I know a few reporters have wrote about this and even alluded to it on the New York Liberty call, that there are certain teams that have pretty stacked rosters. Free agency was nuts in the WNBA. And so there's certain teams that they're going to be giving away training camp contracts, and they're going to be recruiting rookies with the intention of making sure they have the most competitive training camp possible. And I think that's really interesting, especially because there was such an odd training camp. Technically, there were training camps last year in the WNBA, but what happened is that a lot of those rookies that were drafted, and even some players that were extended training camp roster spots, they never made it to training camp because of COVID and the whole wobble situation. So I think it'll be interesting to see what we get this year. Hey, thank you so much. I'm glad that you follow me. I'm glad that you found me here. I'm doing this a little bit impromptu, but I'm going to take some of these clips that from my live stream and use them on Locked On Women's Basketball. I did an episode for the NCAA championship game, where I cut up some of me just talking live reaction. So I might get a little loud. You'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Yes, I know. I keep going back and forth, and I'm also streaming on Twitch. So some of you are familiar with my hockey stuff. This is streaming onto Founding 4 Pod, but some of you are watching on YouTube and also on Facebook. But yes, Anya is the new general manager of the Riveters. So that's the same team that her wife plays for, that Madison Packer has always played for. I get the sense that Anya has some interesting things planned for the Riveters. I'm hoping to, once we get through the WNBA draft and a few other projects I have for women's basketball, I'm going to circle back, and Anya's at the top of my list. I really want to talk to a bunch of the GMs. And although the NWHL and really all of women's professional hockey doesn't have a proper draft like we're going to see tonight, I think that there are some interesting ways that GMs approach recruitment in women's professional hockey. So I'm hoping to provide some insight on that. I think there should be a WNBA team in Boston. Just think of Boston versus LA. It would be good for the WNBA. Listen, a lot of people are talking about expansion. And for those who listen to the Locked On Women's Basketball podcast that I host, you probably know that I had the group from the Jersey Club and part one of that conversation, but they created and let me move this out of the way, but they created mock-ups for 12 expansion teams. Now, they didn't include Boston. They talked to me as to why Boston was not included, but they did just like the WNBA did. They did the Rebel Edition, the Heroine Edition, and the Explorer Edition for 12 expansion teams. So let's see if I can remember them all. You've got Philadelphia, you've got Portland, this is Toronto, St. Louis, Denver, this is Orlando, Nashville, you've got Cincinnati, and I'm forgetting the other two here. San Francisco and San Diego. So those are some interesting cities. Some of those cities have had professional women's basketball between the league that was up in the 70s, and Myers Drysdale was the first ever draft pick for that league. And then you had the ABL. Dawn Staley played in the ABL. Katie Smith played in the ABL. And then, of course, the WNBA. So some of those cities are familiar. Charlotte was another one of the cities that the Jersey club came up with, and they called it the WNBA Expansion Project. So definitely check that out. I talked to them on Locked On Women's Basketball. Arthur, I'm not sure what your vibe is, to be honest, but I thank you for your comments. But that's not really the energy I'm trying to give off right now. So maybe you and I can go back and forth some other time, but I've got some pretty exciting things to focus on, and LeBron James isn't one of them. LeBron James actually isn't even playing in the NBA tonight, so maybe we talk about him some other time. All right, let's do that. All right, so you think the UCLA product is going to be Rookie of the Year? Where does she go? Where do you think she lands? Uh-oh, we're already getting the spats. Now, this is the type of conversation I'm here for. All right, Arthur. I like I said, I don't remember what your question was, but you be well. Hope you're well. So yeah. Anyway. So I guess they're at commercial break. I'm probably a little bit delayed if anyone's watching on cable because I'm streaming this. But I don't know. Here we go. First pick's coming. Oh, we already got this. I already missed the first pick. I was talking to y'all.
Select Awak Kuia from Finland.
So no surprise with the second pick.
Kuir, 6'5", 19-year-old from Finland, might be the most pro-ready big in the draft.
Yeah.
Yes, only 19. But
Holly Rowe was ready. Holly Rowe was definitely ready.
Great wingspan, can block shots, can handle in the open floor.
Yeah, I was too busy messing around with Arthur. I missed. See, this is what happens, but that's all right.
Yeah, by far the highest ceiling.
We'll see. She mentioned wanting to stay there.
She runs like a deer.
So what's interesting is that so Charlie Collier, as expected, went number 1. Then Awakuir goes number 2. Now we see that there's all these new graphics that ESPN has for the WNBA draft, and they're saying that the next best available is Girantes from Rutgers, which I think is really interesting. And according to the draft order, that would be the Atlanta Dream on the clock.
To the Dallas Wings, and she's headed to a conversation with Holly Rowe.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, hold on. Let's hear from Owak.
This is such a huge day for you. I know that you are already playing a game today, have to hurry and change to get ready for this moment.
That's wild.
You are in Italy where your team is playing in the Italian playoffs. First of all, did you win your game?
Yes, we did. We did win the game.
Well, congratulations. I know you are so
I wonder if they're
proud
going to
of coming
update the
from
draft
your home
board.
country,
It doesn't look
Finland,
like it.
and that your family are there watching the draft. What do you have to say for your family that they have supported you so much through this journey?
I just want to say I'm so thankful for my mom and dad and my siblings. I'm so grateful to have a family like that to support me with everything I do. So I just want to say I'm so happy and so thankful.
You've made history tonight. You're the first player from Finland to be drafted into the WNBA.
That's really
you told
dope.
me you're so proud of that. What do you hope you represent to all of the young women in Finland?
Just to represent a player who can make it and like to be a role model to all of the Finnish.
So that's Awakuir just talking to Holly Rowe. They have some pretty cool green screening going on here. Awakuir was just talking about how she had a game playing professionally in Italy right now. She had a game, won the game, and then got ready for the draft. Her outfit, for those who are keeping tabs, kind of reminds me of, I think it was actually Asia Durr, speaking of New York. Asia Durr had a similar outfit. Of course, we saw what Asia Wilson wore. So Asia Durr was a number 2 pick. But so you're getting into the WNBA. You're from New York, so you decided to be a Liberty fan. What are some good young guards last year? All right, so Kia Nurse. I'm actually a big fan of Kia Nurse. I don't think she was utilized properly in New York, but she is with the Phoenix Mercury right now. But I was talking about Asia Durr. Unfortunately, Asia Durr had COVID. She was really suffering, and there's this whole Real Talk or Real Sports, HBO Real Sports with her that she's having long-term effects. So we'll see how Asia comes back. I was on the conference call with the New York Liberty. Walt Hopkins still believes Sabrina Ionescu is the real deal as advertised. So if you're looking for guards, in New York, Asia Durr, we'll see how she comes back. Obviously Sabrina Ionescu, and then Layshia Clarendon really held that team down. I'm going to be honest. I didn't anticipate Layshia Clarendon having such an impact. Now, obviously, New York did not have a great season. For those who don't know, they only won 2 games after losing Sabrina Ionescu to an ankle injury. But Layshia Clarendon is that veteran presence, went to the finals with the Connecticut Sun before signing as a free agent to the New York Liberty, is a leader through and through in the WNBA, and really elevated her on-court game for the New York Liberty in the Wubble. So that's what I would say when it comes to guards, if you're looking for guards in New York in particular. Am I Black and Panamanian? I am Black. I am not Panamanian, no. My families on my father's side are from Puerto Rico, and from my mother's side are from Cuba. So astute of you to notice that I am Black Latina, but not Panamanian. Although one of my uncles, he moves back and forth and he has property in Panama. So, yeah. Asia Dur, right. I didn't see this comment, but yes, Asia Dur, and yes, Marine Johannes. Now, Marine Johannes, we'll see what happens there. We're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with the Olympics, but I know she plays for the French team. Beck Allen is, I guess, somewhat of a hybrid, but someone to look out for. I don't think Beck Allen was utilized properly with the New York Liberty for a number of years. So although I'm not a huge fan of Walt Hopkins' system, I am really glad that it seems as though Rebecca Allen is going to be a staple for his system, and Marine Johannes as well. So that's something that I'm really excited about. Well, I'm glad that was helpful. But if y'all have other questions, let me know. I really appreciate y'all joining me here. I think it's really exciting that we get a full show with graphics and everything. And here's Kathy Engelbert with this pink getup. Here comes the third pick.
In the 2021 WNBA Draft, the Atlanta Dream select Aari McDonald.
Oh! Aari McDonald goes 3. Aari McDonald goes 3. Okay. This is probably
How about the 5'6" dynamo?
the first
of Arizona,
surprise that we've
National
had.
Player of the Year, co-defensive player of the year.
Aari McDonald going 3. I like this for Atlanta. Kennedy Carter, Aari McDonald. Are you kidding me? I really like this. So again, Aria Girantes was projected. Let me turn this down. Girantes from Rutgers was projected higher than Aari McDonald. I, for one, was curious if Aari McDonald's size was going to impact her. Unfortunately, I would say we haven't really seen smaller guards get a lot of time in the WNBA recently, although Rookie of the Year, who went in the second round, Crystal Dangerfield might have something to say about that. But Girantes was expected to go 3 by a lot of people, including ESPN. So Aari McDonald, that's fantastic. And talking about roster spaces, I kind of like this. I think this gives Aari McDonald a real opportunity, but also can maybe be some fuel in that fire for Kennedy Carter. I mean, Courtney Williams can play the point, but I think is really better off of the ball. I kind of like this. Let's tap into Holly Rowe talking to Aari McDonald.
When we get into the national championship game.
I just let my game come myself, and my teammates will set me up, setting screens. The coaches put me in great positions, and I was just doing my job by converting and being me.
You are such a great
Another
version
all-white
of yourself.
outfit.
Even though you're an undersized guard, your speed is a difference maker. How have you learned to get your shot off against bigger, stronger players, a skill that will serve you well in the WNBA?
I just gotta read how they're playing me. I'm not the tallest. So.
I like Aari McDonald's outfit. The backdrop is great. Got the family there. I wish I could put the camera on, but there's this weird kind of I'm not watching on TV, I'm streaming, so it looks a little funky, so I'm not gonna do that for y'all. Yes, McDonald and Carter, I am here for this. Okay, you don't think the Dream is a good fit for Aari? I think it's interesting. I wonder what Nikki Cullen we're gonna get for Aari McDonald. I wonder what Nikki Cullen we're going to get. I think Nikki Cullen seems to allow and really encourage her guards to kind of run free. And Aari McDonald is a workhorse. So I don't know how the rest of the team is going to go, but you have to remember you have Shakina Strickland on that team. So if you have guards like Kennedy Carter, if you have a guard like Courtney Williams, who Strickland played with in Connecticut, and now you have Aari McDonald, who all theoretically can ball handle, drive to the hole, and create their own shot, then for shooters like Strickland, she can kind of just chill And if you can get the ball moving, that could be a really difficult Atlanta team to guard. So Atlanta saved the fever from themselves. So you thinking that Indiana wasn't going to go with Aari if she was available? I mean, they probably needed to go ahead and take her. This is an interesting question. So I just don't personally like Walt's system, and I really didn't like that he tried to stick so stringently to his system with the roster that he had last year. I know he's a very intelligent coach, but that roster, and yes, of course, we know there were injuries. Yes, I know Sabrina went down. Yes, I know COVID. But you know what? The Washington Mystics started the season without Tina Charles, who they traded for. They started without Elena Deladon, without Tosh Cloud. So I don't want to hear that as an excuse. Here's the next pick for Indiana.
Indiana Fever. Select Kaiser Gondrzejczyk from West Virginia University.
There it goes. I saw a comment.
A lefty, 20 points.
Let me see if I can find it.
At West Virginia. Really can score the ball at all three levels. She's faced so many different defenses.
I know someone mentioned Kaiser.
She can step behind a screen.
Let me see if I can find it again.
Really efficient from three-point land, but she is a fighter who can run the point guard spot and is a true leader.
Yeah, this is certainly a surprise for me for Gondrzejczyk to go here to Indiana, but she is a 5'9" guard with a really strong frame.
We'll see. We'll see.
Finish inside.
Hey, Mike, what's up, buddy?
Creating her own shot, has a nice step back move. She'll be a nice fit, and we'll play defense.
The Mystics will have the best draft at this rate. So for those who may not know, the Washington Mystics have 0 picks. So I don't know. This draft is definitely going different than a lot of people expected. So we'll see how it goes.
Here are the best available.
So Garantis, Davis, Onyenware, and Dana Evans. New York City? Are we going to see New York City? I don't know. Sean, I want to make sure I understand what you're asking. You want the first 3 picks from this draft. So you had Charlie Collier, Awakuir. Both of those players went to Dallas. And then at number 3, we had Aari McDonald. And I think on the website, they updated it. So let me share this with y'all real quick, just so you have the updates. But here we go. This is what we have so far. Let me scroll up a little bit. That's what we have so far. So Sean, I think that's what you're asking, but that's what we have. And Dallas is on the clock. So we'll see what we got. All right, cool. I'm glad that answered your question. This is interesting. I think it's interesting. I think it's so tough to get a sense for what GMs are going to do. Obviously, the last 2 seasons have been really difficult. I don't know. I'm trying to think, who are the teams that need a rookie? And I honestly don't think Dallas needs rookies unless they're going to move them. Unless they're going to move them to try and get other veteran pieces. They have a pretty young core. New York does not need a rookie, in my opinion. Indiana, I don't know what Indiana needs, if I'm being honest. I'm not as tapped into that roster, but I definitely have some questions. I think similarly to New York, before some of the trades that they made, Indiana needed a lot. And were they ever going to get everything that they needed between trades and the draft? Highly unlikely, given what they've done in free agency. I'm not sure that I see the vision. So I know someone asked about Tamika Catchings. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I think the Indiana Fever they're beyond out of time to figure something out. And so Marianne Stanley is a well-respected coach, but I don't know. I honestly don't know I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I know a lot of people are bummed about this, and I would definitely show you the screen, but it's like it's not a good situation. But I'll try to keep the sound up, and I'll do what I can do here. No, I don't think so.
With the 5th pick
Here we go.
in the 2021 WNBA Draft, the Dallas Wings select Chelsea Dungy from the University of Arkansas.
This draft is going very different than a lot of people imagined. I'm kind of okay with it. The Mystics. You think the Mystics need a rookie? I actually don't think that's terrible. They have a lot of veterans. They have a lot of veterans that are looking to win now. I'm really bummed that Alicia Clark is out. That's just heartbreaking. I love watching AC play. But you think they have Hines Allen. They've got Tosh Cloud coming back. Doesn't look like she wants to go anywhere else. I think they could. I actually kind of like that. The Mystics picking up a rookie. They'll have time to give that rookie time with some really great, aggressive MVP caliber Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame players. So actually, yeah, I like that. So this is going to be interesting. Dungy is going to be under a new coach. So we have to see what Vicki Johnson is going to do. She had a super short leash when she was with San Antonio. That year they went with Kelsey Plum as the number 1 pick. And then similarly to Sabrina Ionescu, she got a really bad ankle sprain even before the season started. So we'll see. I have to admit, I don't know Dungy's game very well. But we'll see. Dallas seems to like to run young. But they don't keep stars. They're not able to really keep stars. We've seen Skylar Diggins-Smith, obviously. Liz Cambage, my goodness, the drama. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people had this as such a high pick. Dana to the sky. We'll see. I think from what I know of Dana Evans, that could work. But like thinking of Chicago, I mean, I guess a lot of people want to see them try to get someone that can work under Vandersloot, because who else do they have as a true point guard there? So we'll see. Did I play? I played high school basketball, and I was a defender, not a great shooter at all. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not very tall. I did play softball, though, in college. Yeah, she got hurt overseas. And so I believe the update there is that she's not expected to be back for the season, for the WNBA season. Really bummed out. I'm not remembering the injury off the top of my head, but yeah, she's out. I could see the trades. So they have Collier, Owakuir, and Chelsea Dungy. I do think Dallas, why the heck not? Why not make some trades? I think it would be fun. Give us chaos. Yes, I like this. I like this a lot. I talked about this on Around the Rim. I would like to see them develop a post player. They have Hanju. I know a lot of people are saying that's a good move because she can tap into the Chinese market. I get that. And I believe that New York needs size. So they have Stokes. Stokes is not an aggressive post player. Stokes is proficient enough on the defensive end. She's shooting 3-pointers, which is what Walt wants. But I thought Stokes, even Zowie B, with their size, and especially with Stokes is so strong in the shoulders, I thought they could really be more aggressive and just make teams not want to even go to the paint. And that just never happened with the post players. And Hanju's not giving you that either. Natasha Howard can give you that, but also there's some versatility that comes with Howard. It's the same thing that happened with Tina Charles. Tina Charles, come on, was doing everything. Facilitating the entire offense from the post was Tina Charles, and then got a lot of crap for doing it. I feel like at some point the WNBA and New York Liberty fan base kind of turned on Tina. I just thought it was poor execution of personnel. So you and I'm the worst shooter in hockey, Mike. So we're
The New York Liberty select
here we go.
Michaela Onyenuede from UCLA.
Onyenuede from UCLA.
Might be the most powerful, explosive
Okay.
in the WNBA draft. I just love how she can get to the rim, create contact.
A forward, not a true center.
She's developed a
Not a true center, has a 3-point shot. Surprise, surprise. That's why she's going to New York. Walt Hopkins talked a lot yesterday with the media about wanting to have versatility defensively. I'm really glad that he said that, because defense for the New York Liberty for years has been not great. But then having that versatility defensively, wanting to be a little bit more sophisticated defensively is what Walt Hopkins wants to be able to do, whilst also having that 5 out, making sure everyone on the court is a 3-point threat, wants to see a lot of pick and roll with Natasha Howard and Sabrina Ionescu. I hope that means, though, that the rest of the team is going to figure out how to utilize space to their advantage, because the Liberty for years have done lots of standing around. I don't know. I still reserve the right to see how everything is going to play out. So we'll see. Yep. So I think it's great. I don't always get the chance to watch the EuroLeague, if I'm being honest. Around this time, I'm usually transitioning from hockey to basketball. So I don't always watch Euro. I usually keep up with the highlights. Yeah, I didn't like AZB leaving. I didn't think Amanda Zowie B was playing to her full potential. So I'm really going to be watching what Zowie does in LA. It seems like Derek Fisher knows that Zowie needs to be pushed. If he and his personnel are the right people to push her, to be determined. Yes, they're still on. They're still on the board. So with Liberty at the 6th pick, I guess that's LA, right? At 7, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's, Los Angeles. So that's where we're at, folks. 1 through 6. Let me get this out of the way. Sorry, Miller, twice. I'm going to move you out of the way real quick. All right. We've got Charlie, Owak, Aari McDonald, Kaiser, Chelsea, and Michaela. So we've got LA. That is a nice, these outfits are lovely. So we got LA coming up, then Chicago, then Minnesota. You don't like this. I think you're right. The Liberty need post. I've been saying it for a while. Yes, I know, Natasha Howard. I guess I haven't really mentioned Benai Jelani. Benai Jelani's a little undersized for what New York needs. Howard is comparative to what the Liberty has, I guess one of their taller players, but comparative to the league, obviously Natasha Howard has been able to be successful, Defensive Player of the Year. She's won titles, so I don't want to take anything away from her, but you know what? She was playing with Stewie. Okay? Who's the Stewie on the New York Liberty? Who? Nobody. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah, there's a lot of drama. A lot of people don't like the what overtime has been done with the Dallas front office, and you hear it every year. And you know, I'm not in that market, but you wonder if that franchise is going to look to move in a different direction when it comes to their general manager. So we'll see. I think you're right. Yeah, Gallagher is the Waj of the WNBA. All right, we've got our next pick in.
Seventh pick. In the 2021 WNBA Draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Jasmine Walker from the University of Alabama.
Jasmine Walker. Okay, LA.
Jasmine Walker, the 6'3" post player from Alabama.
Ooh.
What teams were most excited about when it came to her is she could be one of the
Let's
best.
see. Dana, all right. Just want to see Dana. Yep, that's what we got. Jasmine Walker to the Sparks. I'm curious to see what's brewing in LA. Obviously, they have some OGs that are probably going to end their career in Los Angeles. But they lost Chelsea Gray, the point guard. They lost the point guard. They lost Candace Parker. So they got some holes to fill. I'm really curious. This is my New York bias, but AZB, she's got to make a splash in LA if she's going to be able to have a WNBA career, in my opinion. She's really got to make it work. So she's back with the coaching staff, or the head coach that's now working as an assistant that drafted her from Tulsa all those years ago. So we'll see if that works. So you think next is Dana. So who has, what did I say? Who did I say has the next pick? Let's see. So you think Chicago. Woo! Chicago taking Dana. Okay. Let's see. LA got Wheezy. LA got Wheezy. They're set. All right. I like it. You know, I can't go wrong with another Erica, so I'm never gonna say anything bad about that. I know a lot of people don't necessarily understand where Derek is going. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You think Jazz to the New York Liberty? It wouldn't have been surprising. 3-point shooter, size, decent size to maybe push to a wing, or if you wanted to play small, to play at the post. Can shoot the three. Could have gone to the Liberty. Hey, Tater Tot. Well, welcome. Yeah, I'm trying to do a little more women's basketball. I'm streaming on Twitch, but also on YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, welcome. If you have any questions, and let me scroll this here for you so everyone gets to see what we have. Again, we had Charlie Collier goes number 1 as expected. Awakuir from Finland goes number 2. And then things got interesting. At number 3, I think a surprise for a lot was Aari McDonald. Now, Aari McDonald had a great tournament. Did the tournament play into that? Oops, sorry. Did the tournament play into that? Maybe, maybe not. Kaiser we got at 4. Chelsea Dungy and Michaela Onyenware from UCLA. and then Jasmine Walker to the Sparks. So that's what we have. We're through 7 picks. What time is it? 7:48. They're definitely spending more time. We've still got, let me do some quick math, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 picks left. Math is not my strong suit. So we still got a few picks in the first round. There's 3 rounds total in the WNBA draft. All right, well, if Dana is projected to go, then we're right at that. We'll see. But we also know Girantes was expected to go by now. And we've already seen some surprises. 1 and 2 were exactly what everyone expected. Things are all over the place as far as I'm concerned now. Anything is possible. Who else? So we're still waiting on some Stanford players. Why am I forgetting her? We're waiting on, let's see. We have not gotten Davis from Tennessee, Dana Evans, who a lot of people are expecting to go next. Let's see, Mack. We haven't gotten Natasha Mack yet. We haven't gotten Dee Richards for Baylor. Now, Dee Richards is not even projected in the first round by many. Destiny Slocum also not projected to be a first rounder. Kiana Williams, though, is someone we got to watch out for. Kiana Williams. So, and these are some of the available players. Another thing is that the league only invites certain players. Like when usually the draft is in New York, I guess they're still only inviting certain players. So there's only certain players that are available to media, the ones that they're making available throughout the night. And they're probably doing these now, but I'd rather talk with y'all. They're going to make Collier, Renaya Davis, Dungy, Dana Evans, Girantes, Shyla Heel, who's Australian. Someone asked earlier, I'm sorry I didn't get around to it, but you asked about international players, and Lauren Jackson was actually talking about some of the Aussies. We've got Jones from Texas A&M. Owakuir was made available. Natasha Mack will be available. Aari McDonald made available. Michaela made available. Dee Richards, who I just mentioned. Alana Rupert from France. Viva la France. So another international player for the person who asked. Destiny Slocum, who I mentioned. Jasmine Walker, who we saw. And then Kiana Williams. So those are the players that are made available to media. All right, we've got another pick coming in. Let go. It looks like Kathy is really in New York.
8th pick in the 2021
Is it going to be
WNBA
Dana?
Draft, the Chicago Sky select Shyla Heel.
Ooh! There it is. Aussie. Oi. Okay. More surprises. Oh, let me see if I can find the comment. I know someone asked about international players. I saw it and then I didn't get around to it, so that's my bad.
So she's played against professional players. Has played for her national.
I'm sorry, I'm looking for it here. I would have loved this. I'm not gonna lie. I would have loved this.
Jackson herself, that this young Australian is dynamite. She said she's a fighter. Reminds me of myself when I came to the U.S. to play in the WNBA. She just refused to be denied, has a leadership attitude, and can make plays when needed. And anytime Lauren Jackson says it's good, it is good for me.
I'm going to be honest. I don't really know much about Shyla Heel except for when I was on. Oh, okay. That's your cousin. All right. I know I saw it in the comments earlier. All right. So congrats, cuz. That's pretty dope to see your cousin. Okay. Miller. Oh, it was you, Miller. Okay. I don't know. I didn't know much about Shyla Heel before 2 nights ago. And just what LaChina Robinson just said, I don't know if y'all heard that, but she started talking about the young Australian, and Lauren Jackson made a good point that I 1000% agree with, even though it hurts my soul a little bit as someone who roots for the United States usually. But Australians are feisty, yo. They don't mess around. they don't like to be bossed around. And if Lauren Jackson is saying Shyla Heel is like a young Lauren Jackson, stop. Lauren Jackson, a lot of people were saying this, if you know Christina Williams on Clubhouse, Lauren Jackson is like a top, if I'm being real, she's a top 5 player in the WNBA ever. All positions, all eras, ever. She made an instant impact on the league and injuries, you know? Dejanay, we haven't seen. All right, we have another pick. Yo, we just got families all up in here. I love it. I love this.
With the 9th pick. in
My
the
cousin plays for
2021
Maryland.
WNBA
I'm
draft,
just joking.
the
Eric
Minnesota
Ayala,
Lynx
we're not
select
related.
Renaya Davis from the University.
Renaya, okay. Okay, with the purple pants, Renaya. Yes, I love this. Picks are traded. It hasn't happened in the recent history. It hasn't happened a lot, Tater Tot, but it does happen. Y'all are shook, right? Yeah, this is hey, this whole thing is just okay. All right, I'm listen. When Lauren Jackson told me, I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I've got not only United States bias, but very specific New York bias. I'm gonna be real. But when Lauren Jackson said that on Around the Rim on Twitter Spaces, that's all I needed to know. This is okay. So this is when we have to stay locked into round 2 and round 3. Because remember, Minnesota, who just picked up Renaya Davis, Minnesota got Crystal Dangerfield in the 2nd round. The 2nd round. Stop. This is a word, okay? Miller Twice, you are preaching right now. Drafting in the WNBA is so important. Just like having veterans is so important. Cheryl Reeve put in work. I'm a huge Cheryl Reeve fan. I'm not gonna lie. I am a Cheryl Reeve fan. I like how she throws her blazer. If you are looking for a WNBA team, if you are looking for a well-run WNBA team, now I don't know what this new ownership is going to look like, so I can't speak on that. But start with Minnesota and Cheryl Reeve. She knows what she's doing. Absolutely knows what she's doing. So I think this is apropos. She got a great season from Bridget Carlton. You want to talk about international players? Damiras Dantas. Oh, from Brazil. I love to see Brazilians come back to the WNBA. We haven't really seen that since early. We're in the 25th. We're about to start the 25th season. We saw some early and then not really. Same thing with Australians. I guess you could argue that we had Beck Allen, obviously Sammy Wickham, but there's been this lull. There used to be a lot more international players, or I don't know, maybe it just seemed that way to me growing up. You had Tisha Penicheiro, obviously played in the United States here, but oh my gosh, the passes. So I love to see more international players, if I'm being honest. Which pick are you most surprised by? Let me look at this real quick. Which have Aari McDonald was surprising to a certain extent. She was not projected to go that high, so that surprised me. Was I shocked? Not really shocked. Maybe Dungy to Dallas. Dungy. Let's see. Shyla was a little surprising to me. Again, I heard great things about Shyla, but I think I kind of like it. Not a bad surprise, but just like, oh, okay. I can get with that. So I know. not a huge A-Rod fan. So there's that. I'm a huge baseball fan, not a huge A-Rod fan. Just like as a person, as a personality, as a broadcaster, it's kind of fun because he's kind of charismatic. But you know, he's being nice. I don't know what he's going to be like as an owner. To be
The
determined.
2021 WNBA
All right.
Draft, the Los Angeles Sparks select Stephanie Watts from the University of North Carolina.
Whoa! This draft is
So
just.
Stephanie Watts, the 10th overall pick, the 5'11" guard.
This draft is going so much different than I expected. Maybe it's just because I was like, oh, okay, Michelle Vopel, okay, Howard Megdal, whatever you guys say, I'm gonna go with. Let's see what LaChina is saying.
Stephanie Watts can shoot the three, so she can stretch the floor. You mentioned
Okay.
that earlier, something they may need, Rebecca, but I just love her quickness,
Agreed.
explosiveness, and her playmaking ability. Derek Fisher said last year he felt like they didn't have enough players that could just take the ball and go make a play, and he wants someone in their system that can do that. Stephanie Watts can.
There's going to be some fun competition in the LA Sparks training camp because they have multiple players. They got Bria Holmes in free agency as well, who
That's
are going to be able
right.
to compete for that three.
Dang, I forgot
player,
about
who said,
Bria
who can
Holmes.
Shoot the three.
I forgot about Bria Holmes. That's an interesting point Rebecca Lobo just made. This draft is a little loco crazy, man. I honestly think it's because free agency was so intense. So I think that teams are getting creative. They know they don't have a lot of spots. I think they do want to make things competitive. Another thing that was interesting, Kurt Miller said it, and then Walt Hopkins reacted to a question about Kurt Miller saying that there's some strategy, even from the player's perspective, because being invited to a WNBA training camp or being drafted by a WNBA team can elevate a player's stock. Maybe they don't make a WNBA roster, but it can elevate their stock for when they try to get a job overseas. So that's really interesting. And I think it looks to me like the WNBA GMs are really going for a competitive training camp. And they are going for players that maybe they can push and grind and develop. But it's interesting also because except for Indiana, in my opinion, but also Indiana needs everything, also in my opinion, except for Indiana, I don't really know that a lot of WNBA teams need, like, do they absolutely need a rookie to come off the bench or, excuse me, to start and be a difference maker? Maybe Dallas, but it depends. They have a new coach, so they're going to get a little bit of leeway when it comes to that. Oh, I missed that. No, not that A-Rod. I prefer that A-Rod. Sorry if you thought I was talking bad about the Amy Rodriguez. I have nothing but love for Amy Rodriguez, who I guess is back in Kansas City now. So wild. I don't know what's happening with the NWSL. That's another stream for another day. No, not Amy Rodriguez. Nothing but love for Amy Rodriguez. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, nah. He was a Yankee. I'm not a Yankee fan. Not even close. So I just happen to live in the city where they play. But other than that, I'm good. Yeah. UNC has struggled. They've struggled for a while. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The definitely need more teams. So, all right, y'all tell me in the chat, which city would you like to see have a W? Let's give me two cities, because then we'll go from 12 to 14. What two cities would you like to see the WNBA expand to if they could expand next year? What would y'all like to see? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat. Where do I want to see? I'm very intrigued about. All right, we got Raleigh, North Carolina, raise up. Charlotte had a team for sure. Yeah, some people, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And another thing that we have to say is that these teams, they do interviews and they do their research. So I don't know if there's something that gave them pause.
WNBA Draft, the Seattle Storm select Aaliyah Wilson from Texas A&M.
Aaliyah Wilson, 5'11" guard from Texas A&M.
I would love to see it. All right, so Aaliyah Wilson from Texas A&M. This is a very different draft than I expected, if I'm being honest. It's a very different draft than I expected. I don't know. Dana was expected to go high. We still haven't seen Kiana go. It's a different draft than I expected. All right, so Detroit or Charlotte as an expansion city, I like it. Philly. According to Tosh Cloud, if you listen to what I do on Locked On Women's Basketball, according to Tosh Cloud, the WNBA is in conversations with Philly and have been for a little bit. Philly and Toronto. Now, there was some group that was saying that they were in the running. I even spoke to those dudes, but didn't seem to transpire. So Toronto, we'll see. Boston. That would be good. They'd be really close to Connecticut. I think WNBA teams actually fly into Boston and then bus to Mohegan Sun. Speaking of Mohegan Sun, really like what the Connecticut Sun did with the jerseys. They had the Mohegan tribe weigh in. I love it. Orlando and Portland, I think both of those would be pretty dope. All right, you want to see Dana go to the Aces. Well, hey, the Aces are on the clock. The Aces are on the clock. What's bad boy Bill Laimbeer going to do? All right, we have another Boston and Philly. Final pick of the first round. Here we go. What is this music?
With the 12th pick in the 2021 WNBA Draft, the Las Vegas Aces select Ileana Rupert.
Ooh, from France. Vive la France. All right, so we had 3 international players in the first round.
France, mature for her age. She's a
19, only 19, but my mind is older.
She can finish going right.
2 19-year-olds. I don't know how old the Australian is. But, okay. 3 international picks in the first round. Don't see that very often. I think WNBA teams are planning for the future. At least the teams that had first round picks. Isn't that odd? Like, other teams, we haven't seen Phoenix pick yet. Washington has no picks. Who else? We saw Seattle pick once. I don't know. Random names we don't know. These international players have been the international player stock is on the rise. And I think it's because it's an investment in the future. These are 19-year-old players. They can go pro at any point in time. It's just a matter of having them in your system, essentially owning and retaining their rights. And then you can kind of play around, see if they're a good fit. It's a safe, I don't want to say a safe bet, but it is, again, it's an investment in the future. I just get the sense that WNBA teams maybe don't think that they need much from this 2021 draft class. And it's wild because there were like 70 some odd, almost 75 players that declared for the draft. I think it was like 73, like just under 75. And the trick is that these players have 30 days from the draft. Or they have, 30 days from the draft. Bienvenue. Oh, okay, we're speaking French. I know like that much French. They have 30 days, I believe it's from the draft, to go back to the NCAA because NCAA has opened eligibility. And some players, they were not even close to their eligibility as far as 4 true years. But in order for them to go back to the NCAA, that means that they can't have signed with an agent. So, they've got a profile on Areya Girantes, but she hasn't been picked yet. That's always fun. Yeah.
Hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease. Black patients are twice as
Oh, this is the PSA that they were talking about for health, which is dope. All right, I'm gonna put that on mute for a minute. Yeah, this draft is going a lot different than people thought. Yeah, I don't know. It's looking that way, right? It's looking that way. But I think what I was saying before the pick came in is that these GMs, the coaches, the scouts, they do interviews. And I don't know if it's a personality thing. I don't have any insider information, but here are a few reasons why your stock could dip. Personality, injury, or intent. I don't know. Have her plans changed? I don't know. So I guess we'll find out. Bring back a team to San Antonio. I think that would be dope. No, I do not know Eric Ayala. I don't know that man. I know that he plays for Maryland, but I don't know him. I think I made a joke earlier, but no, that is not my cousin. Maybe I have a cousin named Eric Ayala, but as far as I know, that's not him. So I do have a cousin, though, that I just learned is a part of the staff for the Pittsburgh women's basketball team. So I don't know. Maybe Eric and I are related. We're not related. But we could be, but we're not. But who knows? But we're not. How many players are on a roster? Oh, the WNBA. They need to expand the roster. They need to expand the rosters. I would like to see the rosters expanded first, then expansion teams so that we have more roster spots. But to answer your question, the WNBA can hold 12 players on their active roster. When a player gets injured, there's not really an injured reserve. Well, I guess it's a little complicated, and I honestly don't like how it works. So Karima Christmas Kelly, I think, first game in the season, came off an injury, playing for Minnesota. First game, boom, injury. Minnesota needed to make a choice if they were going to honor her contract and keep her on the active roster, which means now they only have 11 true spots because they're holding that roster spot for Karima Christmas Kelly. Veteran, great leader, but they had to make a choice on whether they're going to pay Karima Christmas Kelly and essentially vacate that roster spot or waive her, have salary cap space, and bring in another player. And a lot of times that leaves WNBA teams very short. You get an injury, one of your top players gets injured. Of course, you want to pay them. You really don't have a lot of wiggle room to do anything different. They need more roster spots. They need maybe a different injured reserve situation. I want more spots, different injured reserve, more expansion teams. That's a long answer to, and probably to questions that you maybe didn't even ask, but that's my answer. Look at the stats man. The stats man. So I'm trying to think, who were the international players last year in the first round? I honestly don't remember. Well, geez, what am I talking about? Satu Sabali went too. I'm like, because she plays for Oregon, but she would be considered an international player, or she played for Oregon. Satu Sabali at 2. Who was the other? I can't remember. Then you had the year before that, you had Han Zhu, Didn't go in the first round. She was a second rounder, I guess. She went to Seattle. I don't know what round. What round did Ezzy go in to Seattle? Or actually, that wasn't last year's draft. That was maybe the draft before from Australia. Who else? Bridget Carlton went not last year. Was it last year or the year before? Bridget from Canada. All right. I like this stat. Thanks, stats man. All right, let's see. We've got picks. That's a nice stat. Good job.
This moment and hearing your name finally get called.
Good job, Mike.
It's a blessing. I'm just really excited to finally hear my name.
Dana Evans to Dallas.
I didn't expect to be this far.
Dana Evans to Dallas. Interesting. Oh, Dallas just.
Throughout your entire career at Louisville, all you ever needed was a chance. Whether you were coming off the bench or getting that starting role, I know what you do with a chance. What does the rest of the country need to do? You are going to do with that chance.
I'm ready. I'm going to get in the gym. The next.
Interesting. That's an interesting. There's some technical difficulties. That interview is interesting. You just need a chance, and what are you going to do with that chance? So I don't know. Dana Evans. I don't know. We gotta see what's happening there. Yeah, that was fun when she was speaking French. Who is my favorite player in the WNBA draft? I don't know that I have a favorite player. I don't have a particular player that's coming into this draft that I was like, oh, can't wait to see where they're gonna go. I generally like to reserve opinion until I see them in action in the WNBA, because they could have been great in college, but that doesn't always translate to the W. So I'm going to hold off on that, Deshaun. But get back at me at the end of May, early June, and I'll give you who I think should be a front runner for Rookie of the Year. Also, then I get to see who makes the roster and who doesn't. So yeah, I'm a wait though. Let's see. Yes, only 12 players get paid. Oh, snap. Okay. Destiny Slocum to Las Vegas. This is a little bit surprising, but also not that surprising. I feel like Destiny Slocum would be the kind of player that Bill Laimbeer would go after. I don't really know. I can't put my finger on why, but just a little bit of swag. A little bit under the radar,
Yeah, she keeps the ball moving.
but Bill is going to make her work. So, okay. Okay, Destiny Slocum. Now, Destiny Slocum sometimes gets a bad rap because she is coming out of Arkansas. But before Arkansas, she was at Oregon State. And before she was at Oregon State, she was at Maryland. So I think that's kind of bogus, though, to hold that against players. I don't know. I kind of think it's bogus. Talk about the New York Knicks. Okay, here we go. I was a New York Knicks fan back in the day, but they were bad. I was also and continue to be a New York Mets fan. And I decided that I didn't want heartache from two teams that wore orange and blue. And so then I stopped being a New York Knicks fan. That's all I got when it comes to the Knicks.
So the 6'2" center, Raquel Carrera, joins the Atlanta Dream.
Okay, Raquel Carrera from Spain. So now the picks are starting to come in. Cazorla, Maite Cazorla. I like Maite Cazorla. I was bummed that she did not play in the league last year, mostly because of COVID. I didn't like that. What up, Vinny? How you doing? Yup. Carrera. All right, let's go. little bit of Spain. Yeah, the Knicks just I don't no, I can't. There you go. If you're gonna go, I mean, the Liberty, or I don't know if they're any better, but at least they're not owned by James Dolan. So there's that. That's got to be a high mark, right? They're not owned by Dolan. So what? What do you mean? What? I said what I said. I'm not a Knicks fan. No. I ain't got time for that. I know, Mike. Natasha Mack. Okay. Natasha Mack to Chicago. Did someone say? I feel like. Oh, okay. Goodbye. I don't know who you are. Mac to Chicago. Did someone say? I feel like someone said that earlier. Did someone say that earlier? I think so. Yeah, man. Sorry, homie. I said what I said. Come on, you know it's true. Like, come on, the Knicks, they give you a little bit of hope, and then it's like, oh no, no. Nah, I gave up on the Knicks. Sorry. Spike Lee could have all of that. I know you are, Mike. That's why we're good friends, best pals, yin and yang. Sugar and spice. I'm spice. I mean, I'm like ghost pepper spice. Oh, good times. Miss you, bud. Miss you, buddy. Love that you're a Liberty fan now. All right. Looks like Mac is holding it down at her school right now. I love that. All right. That's what I just can't even. Why are people? Why? Just why? This is the comment that I meant to put up. I mean, we'll see. I keep up enough to know. Shout out to Monica McNutt, who is killing the coverage, and I watch what she does for MSG. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I definitely did not mean to post that comment, so that's my bad. I was trying to get back to the New York Knicks. I don't know. Folks just, I don't know. But we're going to rock. We can still rock. Sorry. I don't know. We'll see what happens with these Knicks. I wish you luck, though. No doubt. Speaking of dinner, I ate an early dinner. I'm kind of regretting it now. There you go. On the screen right now. Natasha Mack, baby. Chicago. I think Chicago probably got lucky that they had that second round. So New York, it was interesting. They just had a thing on the screen that says New York needs offensive improvement. Agreed. We'll see. I'm excited to see Sammy Wickham in New York. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited. This is true. They'll have the best jerseys. I don't know. 19 combined wins over the last 3 seasons. Oof. Dang, New York. 19 combined wins in the last 3 seasons. And they were a 20-plus team for 3 consecutive years before that. You see, this is why I had to give up on the Knicks, because I have enough heartache in New York already. When they did away with the conferences, New York ended up in the middle of the pack. Bill Laimbeer gets a lot of credit for Eastern Conference champions and Eastern Conference finals. but his team was running stagnant anyway, you know? Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to be honest. I never even thought of this, but now I kind of want to see it because Benijah Laney, Dee Richards give me faith that maybe the New York Liberty can play defense this year. Natasha Howard too. But let's be honest. The New York Liberty offensively, going off of history, are going to need Howard to focus in on offense. Historically speaking, New York is not great. It's just not great offensively. You know what I think is hilarious is that this fool is up in here just talking about dumb shit. Like, why are you here then? Why are you here? I don't know. It's very weird. But anyway, we digress. Dee Richards. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Who are fifth in the West now. I'm actually calling that game. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. The second round rolls on here. The 17th pick is in. The New York Liberty have selected Dee Richards out of Baylor.
Just an outstanding elite defender. She was a National Defensive Player of the Year last season. And Dee Richards at 6'2".
I know. And that's what I'm doing for sure. It is a Def Jam record. All right. I like this. Okay. This is my favorite pick. Not just because it's the New York Liberty, maybe a little bit because it's the New York Liberty, but Dee Richards defense. Let's go. I'm here for this pick. I am here for this pick. I want to hear from the New York Liberty if they thought they were going to get Dee Richards in the second round. But you know what? I love this. Who was it that mentioned Dee Richards and got me thinking? You get all the applause, all the flowers. I'm throwing the flowers because this might be my favorite pick. This pick to me makes sense. Some of these other picks, I don't know. But I know the New York Liberty the most. So maybe that's why I can conceptualize this pick in the second. Dee Richards, they had Dee going in the second round. I thought that was interesting. I wonder if it was because of the back situation. I know a lot of people have drama with Baylor, so I don't know if that was that. Defense. Listen. See, now I'm hype. Can y'all tell? Now I'm hype. I don't know if, let's go. Defense. I like it. Defense. Let's go. Apparently, or I don't know if people are playing. I don't know what's happening. This draft has gone very differently than I think everybody has expected, to be honest, which is kind of exciting. I like it. I like this pick. I don't know. I like it. I like Dee to New York. Who did they pick in the first round? See, now I got to go back to the draft board. I'm going to go back to this draft board because. So this is the second round. I like Dee Richards. This is what we're looking at. This is the second round. Dana Evans went to Dallas. Destiny Slocum. Listen, look at this. They don't even have a picture for Raquel. The disrespect. CT. Connecticut hasn't gotten a pick. Oh, Kiana. We were wondering about her. She goes to Seattle. Interesting. So again, Seattle doesn't really need a guard. But if she'd be in camp with Sue Bird, Jordan Canada, Jewel Lloyd. Will she make the roster? To be determined. But I like Seattle getting a guard in the second round. I like this. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Girantes. We get Kiana Williams. And we're about to get another pick. Indiana.
A national championship, and now it's selected by the defending champs. Kiana is ripped out.
Well, Kiana Williams, she was the key.
Could they make the playoffs? They could maybe fight for that 8th spot. I'd love to see it. I'm not hopeful right now, but I'd love to see it. I think picking Richards to me tells me that, yes, Walt wants to do a more, as he said, mature, more elevated defensive scheme. So having Dee Richards who is a workhorse that can guard at all positions, which is something that he said to media yesterday. I like that. I think I asked him that question. Yeah. You're crushing it. Yeah, the disrespect. CT. C, capital C, capital T. What up, Angela? Looking for your Kentucky folks? I don't know. Yep. So that's the thing with international players. They actually can come younger and with more international experience. Now you have to decide whether international experience versus NCAA competition makes a difference. I think it does. There's a certain maturity that you have to play at the international level. You're likely playing with players older than you. And Spain is not a team to be trifled with in international women's basketball. Not to be trifled with. So this is interesting. I think she's going to have some bruises. I think that was one of the question marks for Charlie. Obviously not enough to dissuade Dallas from taking Charlie number 1. But, I mean, we saw it with Asia. We saw it with, why am I forgetting? Indiana picked. My mind is, y'all help me out. But we've seen it with players in the post in particular. Rookie post players. That's tough. So who do you have as the starting 5? So you've got Sabrina and Tosh. Then who runs with Sabrina? Do you go Leja? Do you go Jazz? Do you go Marine Johannes? Beck Allen is probably sliding in at the 3-4. And then you have Stokes, I guess. Is that who do you have as the Liberty's starting 5? I'm curious. Yes, I agree with you. This is the problem that the New York Liberty have. They're expecting a lot from Howard. They're gonna want to get Howard activated. They're gonna want to get Sammy Whitcomb activated. If they can pump into the paint, which is my concern, I don't think they're going to be a team that drives to the paint very often. I think that's a mistake. But if they can penetrate and then dish out, Beck Allen can be lethal from the perimeter. Marine Johannes can be lethal from the perimeter. So there are some pieces there, but it really is going to come through the guard play and the post play. And right now, I think the New York Liberty are weak at the post. That's true. I sometimes keep forgetting about Asia Durr because obviously she was ill. last season and may still be having some, unfortunately, having some COVID effects. And you know what? If I'm being honest, Asia Durr was not utilized properly, in my opinion, under Katie Smith. I love Katie Smith, but I didn't like how she used Asia Durr. I didn't like how she used Kia Nurse. And I think that the Liberty got really lucky in getting value from Kia because I just think that she was asked to do a little bit too much at times and not enough at other times, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Don't know. Don't know for sure. As far as I recall, we don't know for sure. It seems to be the expectation, but we don't know. And that's another thing about this Liberty team. They have enough international players that might be away for a time. Okay. Onyemwade. Okay. I like Kylie Shook. She's smart. Kylie Shook is a smart player. I think she was a little shell-shocked last season. But then there were also times where she was really sharp. Sorry, I just ate a Werther's original. There are other times where she showed she can be really sharp and smart. And we need more of that from Kylie. I think if Kylie could have been a little more assertive, I would have liked how New York was playing last year. They also have Jocelyn Willoughby. I'm curious to see how they're going to integrate Jocelyn. I like Jocelyn as a person. She's leading a fantastic book club. I like what she can contribute. But she just didn't get a lot of time. You've also got Nay Odom that they're going to have to figure out some pieces for. So it looks like the Liberty picked up Valerie Higgins. So now what they're giving us is they're giving us these stories, but they're giving picks on the all right. I was hopeful that they were going to give us full coverage the whole time. Not quite. So we're getting some picks in. I just saw the Valerie Higgins pick. Mike, I love this. Dee Richards is not a point guard. No. So no, that's not why they picked Dee. I'm confident that they picked Dee for her defense. We'll see. Let's see. I mean, I think Dee is a large guard. I don't see her as like a true point guard. I don't see her as a true point guard. I see her as a good defender. Yeah, I don't see her as a true point guard. And I was just like, whoa, they have her listed as a guard, and a point guard. But I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. And even if she can play point, there's a few players on the New York Liberty that can play point guard, but they're not like a true point guard. And Walt Hopkins doesn't even think that Sabrina Ionescu is a true point guard. So, like, who is the point guard? We have this problem again. We had this problem under Bill Lambier, had the massive problem under Katie Smith. Love Katie Smith. There was like a million guards and not one point guard. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, you think she could be point guard relief? Okay. I see her as at the 3. I really do. So New York takes another guard from France. Another Marine. That's interesting. I see Dee as a 3. In my head, I see her as a 3. So I'm having a little trouble having her at the point guard. It's all good. It's all good, Mike. I love it. I love that you're getting involved here. I love you gave me stats. Let's go. Let's go. It's like NWHL 2.0. I love it. Got that at a steal. So Aaliyah Goodman is going to Oregon State. I'm kind of bummed we're not getting these picks. Like they've got commercials going. I don't know. I said it earlier. When I heard Lauren Jackson talk well of Heel, that's when I started paying more attention. So I'm excited to see what she's going to bring. I think also curious to see if she'll kind of, I don't know. I think she needs to maybe bulk up a little. Yeah, there was definitely some picks I was like, Urgh. So, okay, I like this though. I like that Didi can pass. I don't know. I just don't see her as a point guard. You know, I guess I kind of see her more as like a Satu situation, like a Satu Sabali. So maybe she can be the unicorn, if you will, for the New York Liberty. Let's see. What's Damien saying here? They should make a trade for a post player. I agree that they're probably not the strongest at the post right now. Natasha Howard right now, given this roster, is going to have to do a lot of leadership development. And I asked Natasha about this when she came over to New York. And it sounds like it's something that she's up to the task to do, but something that we haven't seen her have to do. She's going to have to do that, just like Tina had to do it. They're at least one player away from winning it all, at least. Maybe more. I'm not in love with this roster. Some of it and some pieces are making sense, and we're seeing the big picture, and it'll be nailed down a little bit. Not loving it. I don't even think I'm cautiously optimistic. I just really want to understand the plan because the post is not great for me. Aari McDonald, 3 overall. Yeah, 3 overall was Aari McDonald. I don't know. It looked like I had 4 fingers up for a little bit. That was weird. So Charlie, I think the consensus is that Charlie might struggle early on, but could be a really player over time. So I'm curious to see that. I honestly don't know much about Lindsay Pulliam. There's some of these names that I quite frankly don't recognize. So I'm definitely looking to see what training camps for these teams look like. There's still a few COVID and testing. Some people are vaccinated fully. Others are in the process. Others haven't been vaccinated at all. Even more players are overseas. And just like always, we'll be coming in right as the season, as the season starts. So I don't know. There is a lot to consider. I'm holding off judgment until I get to see what's happening with the roster spots. Okay. Let's see how it goes, Mike. I'm surprised we haven't really seen any trades. We're getting these picks in the 3rd round. They're just like scrolling. They're not even, they probably don't have access to these players, which is unfortunate. So we're getting recaps right now. Florencia Changas from Argentina got picked. So that's interesting. Going to Indiana. I know. It's a lot going on. Maybe I should do a 101. I did some NWHL 101. It sounds like we might have to do some WNBA 101, and I kind of love that because this is 25th season. You're giving me ideas. I like that. Okay, so this is your roster. Sabrina at the point guard, Durr at the 2, Michaela at 3. Okay, so you have her coming in right away. Natasha Howard at the 4, but you think they're missing a true 5. So you don't like Stokes. Do I think Stokes is a true 5? Probably not. How tall is she? Is she 6'5"-ish? 6'7"? Is she 6'7"? I gotta look that up. Is she 6? I feel like she's not. All right. WNBA 101. We're going to start with the New York Liberty. Maybe I shouldn't start with the New York Liberty because I'd have to say a lot. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Okay, let's do quickly. Santiago, I'm sorry, I don't have a link for you. It looks like the draft is just about done. What time is it? We're just about done with the draft. I got a weird text message. I gotta look at that. What was I saying? Oh, sorry, a link. I don't have a link for you. I got a little distracted. I don't have a link for you. I'm sorry. I know there's been some issues about international viewers being able to watch. Unfortunately, that's something that the league is going to have to figure out. But right now, Kathy Engelbert is talking to LaChina Robinson, who looks fantastic. Let's see. So Kurt Miller talked about this in his media availability. And if you've paid attention to the Connecticut Sun social media, they've been getting us ready to look at their draft picks. Because the Connecticut Sun, I don't think they had a pick in the first round. They had second and third round draft picks. Natisha Heidemann, they've been talking about. They've really been pumping up some of the players that they got later in the draft that have been impactful. So that, to me, speaks a lot to what Kurt Miller does. It sounds like he might be a little bit of an acquired taste, and there are certainly players that have not done well in his system. But for those who can withstand his system, he can get a lot out of his players. So Connecticut is always a team to watch. No disrespect in here. For those who don't know, Connecticut Sun, CT, they have their respect, capital C, capital T campaign. And if you are talking smack about Connecticut, they will call disrespect and come for you legitimately on social media, legitimately. Now, see, what they don't do is, for years, I've been saying, don't sleep on Connecticut. I've never seen my name plastered as in like a positive upliftment. I always say that about Connecticut. They're like, oh, everyone counts us out. I was like, excuse me, Kurt, right here. I always say, watch out for Connecticut. And watch, I'll say that and they'll have a terrible season and then they'll call me out for that. So sorry, but also not sorry, because I don't believe in a broadcaster's jinx or a streamer's jinx, because I'm not broadcasting. Or maybe I am. Who knows? Let's see. Yes, Minnesota, Cheryl Reeve. All you need to know is Cheryl Reeve. I think you'd actually really like Cheryl Reeve. Also an acquired taste. Can be a little off-putting, but she knows what she wants, and she runs her team well. She's a head coach. I like it. She's 6'3"? I thought she was at least 6'5". Oh, that makes me sad. But I feel like you might be right. I have to look that up. See, look at that. Mike Murphy's got it. 6'3"? Oh, thought we had another 2 inches at least. Oh, man. 6'3", huh? Gosh. Yeah. Need a center. You're right. Need a center. I hear a lot about her athleticism. That I think is good because I'm going to be honest, last year's Liberty team, don't think they were the most athletic. Kia Nurse got an injury early. Sabrina Ionescu is athletic, but like low-key athletic, if that makes sense. She's not fast. Laisha Clarendon, not fast. Sammy Whitcomb, not really. She might be like deceptively speedy, but not even that's maybe a stretch. Odom, athletic. Jasmine Jones, athletic. Kylie Shook has good height, very smart player. Average athleticism, nothing above and beyond at that position, but solid. Natasha Howard, athletic, but also not above and beyond, considering you've got Brittany Griner. You've got Stewie in the league. Yes, I saw that. They have another Marine, another French player. Yeah, was that you earlier, Tristan, that said that? Or maybe it was Damien? I agree with you. I think it's at least, they're always like one player off or more. I think they're maybe on the or more side. They were definitely on the or more side last year. I think they might need more than just one piece. Okay, 6'4" makes me feel a little bit better. 6'5" would be best. And 6'7" would be even better. We need a center. Just need the right kicks. I love it. It's tough. A third round pick is tough. It's tough to make a roster. And you're also competing against players that have been given training camp contracts. Not a guarantee, not even close. Who went? Interesting. It's an interesting draft. I don't think they'll trade Leisha. Should they? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm getting a lot of messages. What's happening? Oh. Okay. I thought it was something. Okay. Yeah. I would love to see a few more trades. I'm not sure if we'll get it this season. Do the Liberty have enough young talent? Can they develop enough young talent to make those pieces tradable? Walt Hopkins says he likes to develop talent. I'd love to see him develop talent and then get some veterans. Natasha Howard is an interesting vet because she's never had to lead a team. Not really. Not alone. And same thing with Benai Jalani. Benai Jalani went from a player that was being tossed around to most improved in a season, which I think is great. But that's very different than having a Swin Cash. That's different than having a Cappy Pondexter. That's different than having a Tina Charles. The New York Liberty is going to need to find other veterans with a little bit more WNBA experience, WNBA playoff experience, and WNBA finals experience. So they have Sammy Whitcomb, they have Natasha Howard, but Sammy Whitcomb played more of a role player. She's going to have to elevate that. Can she do it? I think so. But you know what? There's just like that undisputable, undeniable star. And I think New York has two stars. Is that enough in a New York market? Probably not, because there's high expectations. So I don't know. Oh, okay. Interesting. So we did get some trades. I don't see it on the screen yet. Hey, thanks, Sean. And yeah, thank you I haven't even said that, but please do subscribe. I'm trying to monetize all my channels. So if you're watching on YouTube, that's Sports Talk ELA. If you're watching on Facebook, also Sports Talk ELA. And if you're watching on Twitch, that's Founding Four Pod. That's usually where I do my women's hockey stuff. But I will also be integrating the platform and streaming when I do the multi-stream, so you can watch my stuff there. So I appreciate that. Oh man, I'm gonna leave that question out for the group. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think we have to see what's gonna happen. But Indiana has to have a winning season. I really, whether you think Tamika Catchings is a good GM or not, that team has had too many losing seasons and too many 1 through 4 draft picks, even though they never outright win the lottery, which is just piss poor luck, I guess, or just a testament to how bad New York has been over the last few seasons. I don't know. Anyway, Indiana has to get something going. I think Derek Fisher's in a different situation. Again, not crazy about the circumstances that brought him to LA, but Tamika Catchings and the Indiana Fever are under the gun. That's what I think. Yes, I do think they should make trades. I don't think that they're going to be able to make trades this season. I do think that Walt Hopkins should develop his talent to have pieces that he could potentially trade down the line, but also get the best that he can out of them now. But I don't think they really have much that they can work with. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. It's definitely Tamika. Well, all right. First of all, didn't Derek Fisher just get named GM? So I don't know. How can we judge? I don't know. I'm willing to give Tamika this year, but she's got to make it happen this year because some of what's happening in Indiana is not just a Tamika Catchings thing, in my opinion. Just like whatever happens with LA this year is going to start being indicative of what Derek Fisher is going to do because it's his first year as coach GM. So we'll see what happens there. Well, all right, folks. I'm going to head out. I've got to hop on this New York Liberty call, see what Walt Hopkins is talking all about. But if you're not already, please follow me personally at elindsay08. That's ELINDSAY08. You can also follow, if you're a hockey fan or want to learn more about hockey, you can follow the Founding Four podcast. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, I hope that you subscribe to Sports Talk ELA. I have some exciting stuff coming up for the WNBA season. So I'm going to head out. It looks like we're almost done with our WNBA coverage. I'm glad that it was 2 hours. Would have still liked a little bit more from the players. Hopefully we will get there. Which 2 stars are you talking about for New York? I think that the 2 stars, if I had to pick right now, it's Natasha Howard and Sabrina Ionescu. And if I'm being honest, I have questions about both of them. One, because Sabrina is going to have to prove herself. And the other because, well, both of them are going to have to prove themselves in different ways. But I think those are the 2 players that they're looking to be the stars in New York. Thanks for joining, Mike. I love that I got to see your New York Liberty fandom grow right here in real time. And you came up with the assist with the apples, with the stats. I love that. So let's keep chatting it up. But everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this stream. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I did this for the first time. And I don't know what was happening in the chat. Had some argumentative people, but you know what? We hold our own and we do what we do. But all right, y'all. Peace, love, and light. Until next time, Erica Lindsay Ayala signing out. And no, I'm not related to that dude from Maryland.